I've changed out the saddle. I've changed out the stem to a 90, but then, well, now I've put the 120 back on. I've swapped out the pedals a couple times. But the one thing I haven't done is change out my tires. I notice with a little bit of sand or a little bit of gravel that I start to slip and slide, and we can't have that. So in order for me to be ready for my ride on Saturday, I'm doing an End to Hunger charity ride. So it'll be about 63 miles. And so I wanted to make sure I had everything in order. And the last thing I need to do is swap out the tires on that thing because they're terrible. So what am I going with? I'm going with the tried and true and tested Conti's 400S 2s. Everybody loves these things. And I think that these are going to work a lot better for me than the kind of pieces of junk that I've got on there now. For the longest time, these were pretty difficult to find in the 25. So these are the 25C. So I got to pull the wheels off and swap out the tires. And this is not something I typically look forward to. Getting the last bit of tire on the wheel is always a pain in the ass, or actually a pain in the thumbs, really. But if I want better tires, something that's going to grip in wet situations and grip the corners, then this is what I've got to do. And this is going to set me up well for the rest of the year. While I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of playing around and testing CO2 kits. So I went ahead and ordered a little design kit. So you got a couple tire levers that are put together. Well, got a little neoprene sleeve on them to keep them together. Got a couple cartridges and then the release valve. And I figured before I stuck these in my little under saddle bag, I should test it out and figure out how to get these to work. Well, I'll have the wheels off. I'll have to reinflate the tubes anyway. So why not test out some of these little CO2 cartridges so that if this happens in the real world when I'm on the road, I'll know what I'm doing. Let's see what happens with taking these tires off and putting them back on. My thumbs are not looking forward to it. Let's give it a shot. We don't want to lose that. Out the old, in with the new. All right, so let's see what we've got in. Observe the enclosed mounting instructions for carbon rims. I don't have carbon rims. What is this? Check our rim tape. Make sure that it is well placed and that there's nothing sticking up. Nothing's gonna hurt the tube. I'm gonna put this back on the bike and I'm going to pump it up with my pump just to make sure that everything is good to go inside and give it some form to the tire. And then I'm going to release the air and then use the CO2 cartridges to see how it goes. Yeah, it all comes down to practice. These are kind of tedious things. I mean, it's cool to upgrade tires and upgrade stuff. It's kind of tedious sometimes and a little dirty, but but it's also a good learning tool so that when you're out on the road and this happens for real, you know how to handle it and you're not stuck. It's a thing of beauty. I found that what I needed to do was to screw this in and then back it off a little bit, and that's what drops the air into the tube. So take this and screw it in all the way until we can't anymore. All right. So there we go, and then we back it off. And look at that. Okay, so there we go. I swapped out the tires with the Contis. I tried out the CO2 cartridge. Everything is inflated and good. I don't know if you can see, look at that condensation that is now, look at the condensation that's now picked up from all of that. So yeah, quite cold, so it's a good thing this sleeve is on here. These cartridges worked out pretty well. We're good to go. The tires are on, the tubes are inflated. Tomorrow morning I'm gonna ride into work on the new tires and we'll see how they do, how they feel. I just wanted to pause, take a second to do a slight plug for an event that I'm doing this June, as you can see right here. It's the MS Chesapeake Challenge. It's a 2-day, 150-mile bike ride. And this ride is to raise money and awareness for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. The money raised here will help those living with MS. It's a great cause, and down in the description below is a link to my fundraising page. So anything that you could give to help sponsor me on this ride would be greatly appreciated. All right, see you next time. After spending a couple days on the Conti 4000 S2, not the 400 whatever it was that I said a minute ago, but the 4000 S2, and I'm loving it so far. I'm taking the corners a lot tighter, especially coming down some hills and then making some turns. Those are a lot more fun to do now. Going over paved pebble, and I don't feel like I'm slipping around too much there, so that's a great thing, especially since that section is all twisty-turny. So far everything's been great, and because of that, I'm all ready for my ride on Saturday. So those 63 miles I think will feel a lot better than any of the previous miles that I've done. So I've got the bike washed, I've got the new tires on there. I think I'm good to go.